I'm live. Happy New Year's to everyone. Happy 2023. Feel like I ought to be singing that. New old acquaintance be forgotten. Yeah, old lang syne and all that. Yeah, welcome to 2023. Welcome to Cliff Notes Live. Welcome to episode 109, but the very first episode of 2023. Hopefully, we'll just carry it through the whole rest of the year. And before you know it, we're going to be talking like, God, this is the last episode of Cliff Notes Live for 2023. What would that be? 51 episodes or so from now. So 106, episode 160 or so. We'll see if I last that long. Bear with me tonight, guys. I thought I was over all my colds and all that kind of stuff. Now I picked something else up again. I think I picked it up over New Year's Eve. We'll talk about New Year's Eve, but I think I picked something else up again. My voice is a little weak right now. Of course, as loud as I talk, I'll do what I can to keep it going. But I got a bottle of water with me. I've had some cough drops, so hopefully we'll be okay. I hadn't done a lot of talking today because I wanted to save it all up for this evening. So we'll see how it goes. I hope y'all are doing fantastic. Let me see who's out here real quick before we get on to talking about all kinds of stuff for 2023. Kiki, first one out here. Kiki, happy New Year to you as well. Brian Hosteller, Brian, I hope you made it back from Orlando. Okay, I don't know. You may still be down in Orlando, and if so, man, enjoy that long vacation. Maryland Southern as well. Howdy, Maryland. Keith Franken also. Keith, how are you doing? Cindy, how are Cindy? Happy New Year to you as well. Jake, the horror movie geek. Happy New Year, Jake. Hope you're doing fantastic. Michelle Moore, Ma. Yeah, we'll talk about my anniversary. Ma's asking how my anniversary went. We'll talk about that as well. And let's see who else we've got on here. And Angie hung. Angie told me she's going to be out here. Angie, I'm sorry that your gymnastics hadn't kicked back in, but I'm glad you get to spend Monday night with us instead as well. And Mark Taylor as well. Hey, Mark, how are you doing? Yeah, we'll talk about the challenge a little bit. Remind me of that here in just a second. And is that about it? Mandalope? Nah, I wasn't going to forget you, Amanda. Hope you're doing well also. And Wyatt Garrett. See, just when I think I got them all wrapped up. Anna Cano, happy New Year to you, Anna, as well. And with that, I think we'll go ahead and Mark, I think I said your name, but I'll say it again. I hope y'all are all doing fantastic. I hope y'all had a great New Year's Eve celebration. Man, we're through with the holidays, right? Christmas is over. New Year's Eve is over. New Year's Day is over. They had the Rose Bowl parade today instead of yesterday, which kind of caught me for a loop. I'm not used to that. We always watch the parades. Christmas Day, we get up, we watch the parades a little bit. New Year's Day, we tend to get up and watch Rose Bowl parade. I looked around everywhere yesterday, couldn't find it. Then came to find out now that they're doing it on Monday instead. That threw me for a loop. I watched a little bit of it. I'm still amazed what they can do with nothing but flowers, or I guess vegetable matter, dirt and vegetables and everything else. But it's still incredible what they can do. So we did that. But now we're all done. I know some of y'all may have a little bit more time off before you got to go back to school. I go back to work again tomorrow. I'm not ready for it to be over. We have not taken down our trees, Christmas lights, or anything else. Our tradition in the Hog family is that we leave everything up until January 6th, which is basically the 12 days of Christmas. I think January 6th is when supposedly, theoretically, the wise men finally showed up. Jesus sitting there in the manger saying, geez, guys, what took y'all? Well, I guess he wouldn't say geez, right? But Jesus said, yeah, guys, what took y'all so long? I've been here in this manger for 12 days. But hey, long way to walk across the desert and everything. But yeah, so we always leave that stuff up until January 6th. So even though the holidays are over, we'll still turn on the lights and we'll pretend for a little bit longer. We're practicing for next year, right? So yeah. But yeah, I gotta go work tomorrow. I'm not ready for it. This has been a fun holiday. It is hard to believe. What is this, Christmas of 2022? It's hard to believe. 2 years ago, we were doing the whole COVID protocols, right? Everyone was quarantined. I remember Sharon and I did a Zoom call with my son, my daughter, my extended family. No one was together. We were all on the computer talking to each other instead. We're not through everything. There's all kinds of other illnesses going around, but at least we got to hang out with the family and all that. That's what I did this weekend. We did Christmas just with my close family, my son, my daughter, my new son-in-law, my new daughter-in-law, and Sharon and I. But this past weekend was to go do kind of a delayed Christmas and New Year's with the whole big old Hog Clan family, and there were a lot of us there. All right, as we go through a couple of questions, and then we'll talk about what all went on. Ma Sam, how was your anniversary? Well, Ma, it was pretty good. First of all, I spent the night running around with my wife, which that in and of itself would make it a special night. Well, not special. We try to do as much. We spent a lot of time with each other. But now, 32nd anniversary, we went and had a very nice dinner, which was great. Unfortunately, down here, pouring down rain. And I'm not talking just a little bit of rain. I'm talking about if it'd been 20 degrees, we would have had snowstorms just like they had up in Buffalo and everything. That kind of precipitation. We had a lot of it, which made it tough once we got through eating. Ran out to the car. I did pull the car up, gentleman that I am, and kept sharing from getting wet. I'm soaking like a dog. It put a damper on the rest of the evening a little bit. We were going to go out in the back and have a fire around the fire pit and, just enjoy the outdoors and all of that. Now they had warmed up a little bit. Nah, that all fell apart. So we had a blast celebrating, but it gives us an excuse to do a do-over. So we're going to celebrate our 32nd wedding anniversary again here in the next week or two. Once I get through with this cough and cold or whatever I've got as well. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful that she's put up with me for the past 32 years. Can't be easy. I know it's not always easy, but I'm always appreciative of everything that she puts up with me in this marriage. So yeah, 32 years. I'm looking forward to the next 32 years. Cindy Hire saying, curious background. All right, Cindy, down. You gotta help me on this one because I think we've talked about this before on the show, but I just can't remember the answers. Traditional New Year's Day meal down here in the South of black-eyed peas. You eat black-eyed peas, which brings you luck for the coming year. I'm not a real superstitious guy, but why take chances? Knock on wood, so to speak, right? So yeah, one of the things that we do down here is you eat black-eyed peas. Now I know some people in the South that have black-eyed peas and they eat greens as well or cabbage. We don't mess with that too much. I don't know. Maybe if I'd eaten some cabbage, I would have won Big Brother or something that year. But now we eat black-eyed peas, and we do it every year. And I got some family members that are very serious that get very concerned if you don't eat your black-eyed peas. So yeah, that's where the black-eyed peas are coming from. But again, I think that's more the South. Y'all tell me what are traditions in other parts, either up north, way up north in Canada. What are y'all's traditions? I saw a funny little deal. I never realized this, but apparently one of the traditions that people can do is wearing different colored underwear to bring about certain successes in the new year. If you wear green underwear, it's supposed to bring you wealth. Red underwear bring you prosperity. Yellow underwear brings you happiness. I don't know. My color choices aren't so widespread on that, but yeah. I guess that's something that some people do as well. But for us, it's black-eyed peas. So what do y'all do? What am I missing out on? I think 2023 is going to be a pretty good year. 2022, pretty good dang year for me. I mean, my kids both got married. Work went fine. Everything went pretty well in the Hog household. I'm looking forward to 2023 being even just a little bit better. But hey, anything that y'all got to offer to help bump the odds a little bit, let me know because I'm all for that. But yeah, so that's black-eyed peas is the background for that. All right, what do we have on here? The Mark Taylor saying, all right, yeah, let's talk about the challenge. Mark saying, did Tori kill Cassie's game in the future? Casey, are you talking about Casey's game? Here, and I'm starting. All right, sorry guys. For those of you who don't know, the challenge, it was an interesting episode last week. Nelson went home, and I hated to see that. I like Nelson. I've met Nelson before. The very first time I met Nelson was in Arlington, Texas. We had the Big Brother fight going on. Big Brother Canada people versus Big Brother USA people. A lot of other folks showed up from reality TV, including Nelson. Man, he showed up in a white suit. He looked so sharply dressed. I was almost a little nervous to go up and introduce myself to him, but I did. And he was the nicest guy. This was a boxing event for those of you who don't know. between Big Brother USA, Big Brother Canada. But Nelson was there as well to cheer on. I guess he's there to cheer on Faisal, and nicest guy possible, and just so sweet. But now he went home in the challenge last week, and I don't know. I'm really curious to see how things turn out now in that whole season. We've got Jordan just absolutely calling out Tori on some, that he voted to send Fessel in for the competition, even though he had originally said he wouldn't, but it's because Tori had threatened his game. Basically said, if you don't vote the way I want you to vote in terms of who's going to go into elimination, I'm going to hold it against you in our relationship. Jordan did not like that. I got to say, I kind of like the fact that Jordan didn't allow her to kind of use extortion. I don't know if that's the right word, but he was very unhappy that she threatened their outside the game relationship with what happened in the game. So he called her out on that. That's going to be fun to watch to see how that's addressed. The other thing is that Devin and Jordan were the two vets that really were the ones responsible for getting Faisal and Nelson kind of thrown in against each other in elimination. I think Faisal's going to be coming for blood. This idea of protecting the vets, that's done. I think there's people going after Tori. There's people going after Jordan. There's people going after Devin. There's no protection from the vets anymore. So yeah, I don't know, Mark. I don't know how it's going to pan out with all that, but Tori certainly, she's not the only one. I mean, Nani has held some grudges and stuff as well, and Tori just, maybe she pushed a little too hard against Jordan. She ought to know better. She dated this guy, right? I mean, you would think she'd know how he would have responded, and maybe she did. Maybe she just knew it'd create a little extra drama. And we all know we always like watching the drama in a challenge, right? So I don't know, but it's going to be a fun, great next episode. I'm so looking forward to it. So much, considering there's no Big Brother. I wish there was a celebrity Big Brother going on, but in a lot of ways, maybe just as well there isn't, because there's so much else going on. We've got the challenges still taking place. I haven't started watching The Circle, the new season that just came out, but I'm ready to watch that. So I'm definitely going to do that. Zachary Weiss, in fact, said, hey, Zachary, how you doing? Saying, are you planning on watching The Circle this season to see our pal Shuby? Absolutely, yeah. Zachary and I both met Shuby at the Hearts of Reality in Orlando. Shuby is such a fun guy. I watched his season when The Circle first came out, and I haven't gone back and rewatched or anything since I met Shuby. But this is 2 years in a row I've met Shuby. He's such a nice guy, so friendly. And he's exactly the way I would expect him to be based on the way he was on the show. So yeah, he's back on. I gotta give him a hard time because he didn't tell me he was coming back on when we were talking a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, absolutely, I want to watch to cheer him on. And I actually thought I was gonna try to do it this weekend, but you know how things happen. There's so much stuff going on, it just didn't quite work out. But yeah, absolutely, Zachary, I'm gonna watch Shuby. I'm loving it. But as I was saying, you've got the challenges getting hot, getting exciting. You've got the Circle's got a new season going on. There's a new show called Traitors, or Traitor, I think one or the other, with Rachel Riley, a lot of other reality people all going over to a castle in Scotland and playing Clue or Betrayal or Last One Standing. I'm not sure how it works out. Doesn't matter. As long as it's my fellow reality people, I'll be there cheering them on. So definitely a lot happening in the reality TV world. All right, Brian Hostler. Heard a rumor they're talking to several past house guests about coming back for Big Brother 25. Well, I need to call CVS, make sure they didn't lose my phone number. No, I've heard rumors like that myself. Being that's kind of a special season, theoretically, a Big Brother 25, what are they doing? The Hunger Games, Courtnell or whatever. I hope they don't do like that in Big Brother. Of course, I'd be watching if they did. Yeah, Big Brother season 25, maybe do something a little special, being that it's the 25th anniversary and all of that. If they brought people back, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I can see that happening. When's the last time they brought people back? Season 22. So it's only been a few years. In some ways, I almost feel it's a little bit too early, but there for a while, every season they were bringing a couple of people back. It seems like, or a lot of seasons, right? Not the whole cast, just a couple here and there. I'm not sure how much I like that. And now if it's me, sure, bring me back and I'll be all kinds of happy if they do that. But I do feel like there's such an advantage for the people who've already gone through a season in the house, competing against people who have not. I don't know, maybe it paints a target on your back as well. I certainly think if I went back in a house, I'd have a target on my back. But you just know so much more about the way that game works and how to handle the stress and everything else. And so I'm not always a huge fan of these mixed cast, but if they do it right, then what I don't want was it season. When did Ian win it and all where you had some people that came back as coaches, but then halfway through suddenly they could switch. So instead of coaches, they were competing just as regular players. Now, if you're gonna do it, you either play by the exact same rules throughout the whole season, or if they wanted to bring some vets back and have them as some kind of coach through the entire season, I'd be okay with that. Do you know how much fun I would have if I came back in the house, even if I couldn't win the big prize or whatever? If they just said, Cliff, we're going to give you 3 people. It's your job just to kind of mentor them. You just talk to them. You just make sure that they don't do anything crazy that's going to get them in trouble and all of that. It would be so much fun, Padawan, you are. For me just to go in and talk to some other people and see if I could help be the coaching and get them through this season and win at the end. That'd be pretty cool. So CBS, yeah, keep that in mind if you want. But yeah, I can see it. I can certainly see him bringing on some more people. I'm just ready for the next season to start again. Now we're in the doldrums of wintertime. Bring on Big Brother. I'm ready for the summertime. Ma saying, would love for a fans versus favorites for Big Brother. Yeah, I'd be okay with that. Bring in some favorites, bring in some fans. That would be interesting. There's some hardcore fans out there. I mean, there's some shows I think like Survivor and all of that where there's a lot of people who watch the show that don't necessarily, I don't think, feel or as prepared to actually be on the show as they think they would be. But there are people that I talk to all the time when I do my Big Brother recaps. They know that show inside and out. I'm amazed still that people come back to me and say, hey, when this, and this happened, what were you thinking? Like, geez, I don't know. I don't even remember that. But there are people who have every bit of this memorized. I would love to see some of those hardcore fans in there playing against some of the favorites and not just the winners. We did that with All Stars, kind of, right? I'd like to see all kinds of people. I'd like to see some people that didn't last very long, but everyone liked and thought they had some potential, such as Ovi for my season. That'd be kind of fun. Some people that were just fun people, even if they were a little sloppy with the way they played their game. They got a lot of people to choose from, right? So yeah, I'd be okay with that. That'd be kind of interesting. All right, what else do we have on here? Mark saying, who are the go-to the challenge? CT, Bananas, Faisal. Yeah, CT and Bananas I'm going to throw out there, and maybe Wes as well. Faisal, you got to win one first, and he hadn't won it yet. And he still hadn't proven that he can get past the eating challenges. Once he does that, and once he takes home a title, then I'll start saying that I think Faisal is the biggest potential player right now. I mean, he ought to be dominating. His strategy, I don't think, is bad. It's just he hadn't made it work just yet. But yeah, Wes and Bananas, the old school guys. Yeah, it's got to be them. And it's hard not to say Bananas, right? But there are other players. As much as I love Bananas, and he was such a nice guy when I talked to him, but there's people that, I don't know, rely just a little bit more on strategy. Well, I don't even say that because I think Banana does too, but CT and Wes both, I don't know. There's just something about them that sometimes you don't look at them. Maybe they don't have the same notoriety in some ways as Banana does. And yet they just play the game so well from a strategy standpoint. So yeah, any one of those three I'd throw in there, but not Faisal, not quite yet. I can't think. And then you get to the women's side of it, and KC has won, but I still don't quite put her up there. I think she has a potential to be one of the all times. Uh, Someone like Anissa, who I love watching her play. I cheer on every season. She's as old school as they come, but the fact that she hadn't won, so I'm not going to put her up as a goat either. But I love that show. I absolutely love that show. So cool meeting them here a couple of weeks ago. All right, would you watch? I saw that. So I didn't see who wrote that. But anyway, would you watch? Oh, now I lost on here. Mark saying, would you watch Special Forces on CBS? Lots of stars. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. It could be a little cheesy, as some of these celebrity type shows are, but yeah, I forgot all about when they have to go through some kind of Navy SEAL, Army Ranger, Green Beret, some kind of special forces uh, training of some sort. Now, I'm sure it's so toned down compared to what those guys really do in the training. There's some badass folks that do some of that special forces training. I watch people on challenge do things that I'm a little amazed sometimes that they survive doing it. They would get wiped off the board by some of these special forces guys that go out there and do some of the, the SEAL team and all that. It is amazing what people can do, the depths that they can push their bodies without giving in, without giving up. So yeah, I'll watch it. But again, as long as it's not too cheesy, as long as it's not so, I don't want to see a show where they do they're hanging from a rope or something, and you get to listen to 30 minutes of them talking about how horrible it is and them cheering each other up about, or cheering each other on, working them up, don't fall. Now, make it hardcore. Make these guys suffer. Let's see which of these celebrities really have what it takes. If it's like that, I'll watch it. If it's just them just kind of patting each other on the back, yeah, maybe not so much. So we'll find out. All right, what else do I have on here? We've got Brian saying, all right, corned beef and cabbage for the holidays. I've seen that. I mentioned cabbage. I forgot about the corned beef part of it. We don't do a lot of corned beef down here in Texas, which it is the beef capital and all that. You would think we do every kind of beef that you could possibly do. But yeah, all right. Well, maybe I'll have to track me down some corned beef. I did eat plenty of just regular old beef on New Year's. I told y'all last week that New Year's Eve was going to be tamales, right? That we were all going to eat tamales. Well, we had a little situation. The tamales didn't get to us quite as early as we thought they were going to be. So now I got a big freezer full of tamales. So we're going to be celebrating the month of January with tamale meals instead, which I'm fine with. But what we did on New Year's Eve instead, the most amazing, my brother did a roast, a barbecue. We had pork butts out there that were amazing and all kinds of barbecue and all that. So yeah, not corned beef, but probably hopefully close enough. We ate here's something we did that was kind of fun. We had a big barbecue for everyone that came over. We watched the 2 football games, the college football playoffs. Oh my gosh, incredible games. We'll talk about that in a second. Ate a lot of barbecue, and everyone brought over a bottle of their favorite drink, whatever that may be. We had a lot of people bring over some wine, some whiskey, some Mountain Dews, just whatever you want to drink, bring it all, and everyone then just shares a little bit. I had a little fun. I brought a couple of different things. I brought some mulled wine. Y'all know what mulled wine is? Mulled wine I first got exposed to while I was over in Vienna, Austria. I went over there for a conference. It was December. They have these really cool night markets, Christmas markets, where it's you just go from kiosk to kiosk in these different parts of town. And there's people selling ornaments and Christmas cookies and tinsel, everything that has anything at all to do with Christmas. But they also have mulled wine stations where you go and you pay, I want to say it's like $3, and they give you a little cup like this. This is one of the ones I got while I was over there in Vienna, Austria. Can you read that? Yeah, I can't either, but I know it means Christmas market. But you buy a little cup for like $3. They fill it up with heated wine, which is wine that also has some spices and things like that in it. Tastes so good while you're walking around where it's so cold out there, drinking your little mulled wine. When you get done, you can go back and turn in your cup, and I think you get $2 back, so it's only $1 for the wine. I didn't do that. I kept the cup, and then I would walk to the next Christmas market a couple of blocks over. do the same thing, get another cup, because every Christmas market has different cups. And so by the end of a couple of days of doing this, I had a half a dozen different night market, Christmas market cups. That was not easy getting back home to the States, but I took them all back home. So now we've got a little Christmas market selection. So that was my first experience with mulled wine. It is so good on a cool, cold evening. So I brought some of that, which people drank, but I also brought a bottle of a drink called soju. Have any of y'all ever heard of soju? Now, I hadn't either until just recently. It is a drink that they make in South Korea, and it's it's like fermented wheat and barley and things like that. It's a white liquor, somewhere between beer and vodka, is somewhere in between. I brought that, and everyone tried a little bit of soju just since they'd never had before. Gotta say, South Koreans do it pretty good. It was a pretty nice little interesting little drink. So we did that. Had a lot of food, a lot of drinks, and a lot of amazing college football games. Someone asked, and I'm sorry, I forgot who I saw who had posted, but I grew up a TCU Horned Frog fan. I grew up in Fort Worth. My parents both went to TCU. Now, I was a rebel. I turned around and went to Texas A&M instead, but I got a lot of family members that are TCU fans, and we were all watching that game, not expecting them to ever have any chance against Michigan. And they won the game, and it was a close game. It was exciting from start to finish. So they were very happy about that. And then we turned around and watched Georgia and Ohio State. That was an incredible game as well. Now, I work with a lot of people from Ohio and Michigan, so there's going to be some sad folks I talk to tomorrow when I go back to work. But yeah, amazing football games. I'm so looking forward to next week's championship game. And Amanda, all right, thank you, Amanda. Asking, did I watch TCU beat Michigan? Yeah, I saw your comment and I forgot about it. Yeah, we watched it. We had every TV. Now, here's what's funny. We had every TV in the house playing the game, and this was over at my brother's house, but the TV that's in the backyard, again, we live down south, so we can still be outdoors. It's not that cold. We had some heaters going and stuff, but the TV that's in the backyard area, back patio, is about 3 seconds faster than any other TV in the house, just from the way he's got it wired up. So we were watching in the back, and something big would happen, a turnover, an interception, a long pass, and we'd all start screaming and hollering. And the people that were inside watching the game would wonder what in the heck just happened. And so, yeah, there was a kind of, then we'd hear them cheering and hollering, and we knew that they had just seen what had happened as well. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. But we probably had, at one point, we probably had 25, 30 people over there watching the game. So, yeah, the night turned out the way we wanted it to, I think. TCU is going to compete in the championship game. They're going to play Georgia, which is going to be a tough game. But it's going to, I think they got a chance. Cinderella season. So we'll see what happens. The fact they made it there, I wish it was my Aggies. A dream scenario would be my Aggies versus TCU in the national championship. But hey, if the Aggies can't be there, I'm going to be cheering on TCU. It's going to be so much fun watching that game. All right. Star Bunny saying, excited for Big Brother 25. If it's returnees, hope you come back. Me too. And Lawrence Santiago said, you'll be back for the 50 plus season. All right. I'm all for it. Now, are you saying 50 plus is in 50-year-olds and up competing in the season? I'm buying in for that one. Or are you talking about season 50 on down the road, which would be 25 years from now, puts me at 83 years old. Yeah. If they want to call me when I'm 83 years old, hey, Jerry did it when he was 73. Call me when I'm 83. I'll come back. I'll play the game again. It would be a different kind of game, right? Who knows? I'll come back when I'm 83. But yes, if they come back for a special, all the old folks kind of season, yeah, bring me back. You know how much fun it'd be playing the game with Kevin and Donnie, and I don't think Evil Dick will ever come back, but playing the game with some of the Sheila and Rennie, some of the folks and DJ or Terrence, DJ Showtime, Terrence from this past season. It would be interesting if they got the oldest person from every season and just put us all together and played the game. Or how about this? They took the oldest person from from 8 seasons and they took the youngest person from 8 seasons and they put them together. And they had a young team and an older team, and somewhere down the road they merged them together. We'd show those youngsters a thing or two. I absolutely do believe it. Yeah, I'd like it. I'm all for it. So yeah, keep that in mind, CBS. All right, what else do we have on here? Birdman saying, "What's your favorite Big Brother season besides Big Brother 21?" Well, I'm glad you threw that little extra in there because yeah, definitely my season. Uh it depends on. They're so different. I asked Robin Cass once, who does casting for Big Brother, or used to here in the United States, still does in Canada. I said, "Who do you have a favorite?" And she's told other people this as well. She says, "No, it's like choosing your favorite kid. You can't do it." She said, "You know, every person kind of she remembers things about them and all that, and she has a lot of favorites, but she can't really pick. Just like you can't pick between your kids." I feel the same way on Big Brother in some ways because there's a season like Big Brother season 8, which I always talked about when I was casting. I said, "Oh my gosh, I love that season because it was my first real exposure to Big Brother." And so that alone made everything so much more new and exciting and all that. But then you had Jen and Evil Dick in there and them fighting with each other. And there's just so much drama, so much chaos. So I like season 8 just because it was a fun season to watch. In terms of some of the behavior that happened during that season, I told during casting, I said, "Look, just because I like that season doesn't mean I'm condoning everything that happened. There's stuff then that happened that if it happened nowadays, you'd be booted off the show. They don't put up with that anymore." And so I was careful to say, I don't approve of all the behavior. I'm just saying from a viewer standpoint, that was a great one. I like that one. I liked Ian Terry's season. Was he 14? Sometimes they kind of merge together. I liked his season. I like 16. Uh, not not just because of Derek. I mean, Derek played a great game, but I like Donnie in there. I like watching Donnie play. I liked Paul's first season because I like Victor in there as well. I thought they were a fun team to watch. So I got a lot of favorite seasons, but my go-to a lot of times I tell people is maybe season 8, just because it was the first season and it's the one that got the hooks dug into me. And here I am after season 8 to 20, after 13 seasons, I got on the show. So it's all because of Evil Dick and all his crazy behavior in that house. A lot of crazy behavior has happened in that house over a lot of different seasons, right? MC Squared is saying I liked 11 plus 12. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember those. 12 had Rachel's first season, right? Or was that Adam? I think that was the season Adam won, maybe. They all merged together after a while. Yeah, MC Square saying I only eat corned beef on St. Patrick's Day. Well, corned beef seems like a good luck meal for New Year's Day, but yeah, I can see how that would be certainly a St. Patrick's Day tradition. I'm trying to think, do we eat anything special on any other days other than New Year's Day? And I can't really, well, I guess turkey for Thanksgiving, but beyond that, uh, Easter, we have a lot of deviled eggs and things like that. And in the Hog household, every holiday is macaroni and cheese celebration, but I can't think of anything special we eat on St. Patrick's Day. I don't know, green beer or something. In the younger day, before the wife and all that. But yeah, corned beef sounds pretty good for St. Patrick's Day. Birdman saying, how did the diary room segments line up with the competitions? Well, Birdman, they're kind of interesting because here's typically what happens. And I don't know if I've ever been asked this question before. As far as the diary room segments happen, lots of times you'll do a little bit of a flurry of diary room segments right before the eviction episode, like that, say on Tuesday onwards. We'll do Tuesday and Wednesday a lot of diary rooms because the producers are wanting last little bit of sound bites to put into those Wednesday and those Thursday night episodes. So they've got us in there saying, all right, what are you going to do if this happens? Or where do you think this thing's going to turn out? who do you want to win on Thursday? Who do you not want to win on Thursday? So they start prodding you for all kinds of information they're actually going to put on the show for those 2 days. So we do those kind of diary room segments. And then we have the eviction on Thursday night. Normally we then have the HOH competition later that night as well. And then you turn around and have the eviction on Friday. So a lot of stuff is happening, or not eviction, nominations on Friday. So a lot of things are happening in a span of 24 hours. So a lot of times we'll have the nomination ceremonies. And then from that Friday, the whole rest of the day, you're doing a lot more diary room segments. But now it's like, all right, now the nominations have been made. What are you thinking? Does this work to your benefit and everything else? And then finally, we'll have the veto competition on Saturday. And that's kind of an interesting one because I know a lot of people complain. They hate us to come in and do the diary room segments of saying, I walk into the backyard and I see this giant forest of stuff with logs hanging down. And I immediately know that we're probably going to be hanging from that. And the rules of the game are, we kind of not read out, but we kind of talk about what the veto competition is going to be like. And we do some of that on the HOH competition as well. And they have us also kind of just go through line by line doing them. That's the only part of the diary room segments that aren't kind of off the cuff, that are not rehearsed, but a little bit of us reciting things that need to be said. So as a viewer, they understand the comments. So there for a little bit right after the veto competition, we do that kind of diary room. And then the rest of the time, it's all about just saying whatever's on our mind and getting them getting enough information that they can then build their story. And what's funny is you go in there's sometimes you'll do a diary room segment and it may be 30 seconds long. There were times I'd go in there and they'd say, hey, Cliff, you said yesterday that blah, 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 and we love it. And we like what you said, but you took 2 minutes to say it. And we got to get that a little tighter. Could you say it again and maybe just trim it down to 15 seconds? Yeah, sure. So I'll say, all right, well, based on this, I got to take care of business and get this person out. And they say, all right, Cliff, that's perfect. That's all we need. Thank you. And you walk right back out the door. There's other times where you spend 2 or 3 hours in the diary room and you go over every possible scenario that could happen, the good stuff, the bad stuff, everything in between. And I know those 2 or 3 hours, they're just waiting for you to talk about that one little section that they actually care about on the show that they're going to then cut and put on an edit. So, sometimes there'd be a situation where I may say, if Tommy turns on me and sends me out the door, that's going to be horrible. That may not even be what I was thinking at the time. That may have been the last thing in my mind. I may have thought of 10 different scenarios before that one. But because Tommy and the rest of them are talking about turning on me, they want to have that little soundbite without alerting me to it. So they have me talk about all kinds of other stuff, and eventually they get to that one thing, and that's what they use on the edit. So it's interesting. You can almost tell based on what day it is what kind of a diary room segment you're going to have, because they're getting little quick cuts for their episodes, or they're wanting to know a little bit more about your plans, your scenarios, your emotions, how you're feeling. It varies from day to day just based on the schedule that's taking place in that house. But that time period right around from Thursday until Saturday night, you're doing a lot of talking and there's a lot of conversations, not just with the diary room, but also with everyone else in the house, because you got nominations and just so much going on for those couple of days. And then you get the downtime where there's nothing that takes place for days on end. And that's tough as well. All right, Angie saying, any travel plans in 2023? A little bit. And then and also saying Vienna is a place I haven't visited yet, just Salzburg so far. I've never been to Salzburg, but that'd be kind of, the hills are alive. Yeah, that'd be fun. Entering that New Year's Eve concert lottery in February. All right, well, that sounds pretty good. Give me some details on this lottery. I hadn't heard that. First of all, travel plans. Yeah, I got a few. I'm actually going next week to Virginia, work-related stuff, so nothing super exciting, but I'll be over in Virginia doing a little bit of stuff. More exciting, I've got a nephew who's getting married next summer, and he's getting married down in Cancun. So what do they call it when you go to a destination wedding? So we're all heading. The whole family's heading down to Cancun to watch his wedding. That'll be all right. Yeah, spend a little time on the beach. Sounds pretty cool to me. So yeah, we'll be doing that this summer. Uh, Beyond that, I don't know. I want to grab Sharon, go somewhere exotic. We'll see how it all works out. Last year was so busy with the weddings we were doing and everything else that we kind of spent the last 6 months just kind of catching our breath. But now we're ready to get out and about and do some stuff again. So a little business work, domestic US, and then heading to Mexico. I'm ready to come up visit Calgary and Edmonton and Banff and some others up in your neck of the woods, Angie. Just haven't scheduled it yet. All right, Mark Santa, who's going to the Super Bowl this year? Well, it sure as heck isn't going to be my Texans. I don't know. Yeah, I live in Texas. The Texans are doing horrible, which means everyone suddenly becomes a Dallas Cowboys fan. And talk to anyone around here, they're all swearing up and down it's going to be the Cowboys. Cowboys versus Eagles. I don't know. Let's see who goes to the bowl from our side. I don't know. With my Texans out, I've been a little more focused on the college football. Of course, my Aggies didn't do well either. It's been a rough year for college and professional football. We'll see. And then Lawrence is saying, went to Green Bay last summer. The stadium seats 80,000 and the population of Green Bay is 80,000. Green Bay fans are incredible. I got to say, the fans, I've always been impressed with Green Bay fans and Kansas City Chief fans. Both of them just travel so well. They're so passionate about their teams. Green Bay, I'll always remember. I grew up a Dallas Cowboys fan. I'll always remember the Ice Bowl competing against those guys. So cold. Now, I wasn't there, and I was only, I think, 2 or 3 years old, so I wasn't, well, I was probably watching. My dad did a good job of indoctrinating me into Dallas Cowboy lore and all, but I don't remember the game live, but I certainly saw it later. But Green Bay, the only publicly owned NFL team. Everyone else has, Dallas has Jerry Jones, these billionaires that own the teams and all. And more power to them. Someone's got to fund these teams and pay these incredible salaries they pay. But Green Bay, it's all owned by the public, right? You own a share of stock. And I guess it's impossible to get those shares of stock now. They just get passed down from generation to generation. But how cool is it that the city itself basically owns a team instead of some rich guy that may or may not move the team somewhere down the road if someone else offers them more stuff? So, yeah, I love me the cheeseheads. Doesn't mean I'm cheering for the Packers. Well, I'll cheer for them a lot of time because I like the team. But if they face the Texans, I got to go with my loyalties. But yeah, I like the Green Bay fans. I've never been to Green Bay, Wisconsin. I used to watch Laverne and Shirley, which was based up in Green Bay. But beyond that, I'd like to go up there one of these days. That'd be fun as well. Yeah, they got some great fans up there. Ma saying, turning 18, going to college in 2023. Ma, I am so happy for you. The world is your oyster. You're going to get out there. 18, everything's opening up for you over these next, 2, 3, 4 years, the next decade. Take care of business. Do what you got to do to keep the grades up and all of that. But enjoy life while you do it as well, because it's a special part of life that's never quite going to be the same as what you're going to experience for the next 4 or 5 years. So enjoy every bit of it, and you better keep us up on where you're going to school, what you're doing, because I'm excited. I'm going to be cheering you on every step of the way. Now you're going to have fun. I've told y'all before, my college years, all the stories I could tell. But just like y'all know Dolly Parton's written a song that I think she's written it, said it can't come out until I'm 99 years old, or at least on my 99th birthday. She said, so I'll probably be gone by then, but I want to have some fresh content out there at that point. Maybe I need to do that with my college stories. I'm going to write them all down so my kids, my grandkids, my kids have heard them, but so my grandkids and on know about them. But maybe I won't release them until truly the statute of limitations is run out. Because we had our own fun in college, Ma, and so yeah, it's a fun part of life. I'll just leave it at that. Amanda Lowe saying, my dad bought me a share of Green Bay for my birthday one year. Wow. All right, call me impressed, Amanda. That is because everything I've read is that those shares are hard to come by. That is that is so incredibly cool to know that you were a part owner of the Green Bay Packers. Probably not enough to get up into the 50-yard line suite, right? I'm guessing that it's having that stock. I guess, do you just have a stock certificate saying one share Green Bay? That's incredible. That's really cool. I'm not a Green Bay fan, and I would buy a share of stock if I had the opportunity to do so. All right. Yeah, that's cool, Amanda. I really I'm impressed. I'm going to be able to tell people I know someone that owns a share of the Green Bay Packers. That's neat. All right, what else do we have on here? I didn't even mention 750s. It goes so quick. I didn't even mention. Did y'all know today is National Science Fiction Day? And I always say that. Normally I do that the very first, and it's just as people are coming in. But I wanted to throw that out there because it's National Science Fiction Day. It's also the 102nd anniversary of the birth of Isaac Asimov. And the reason I wanted to mention it is because he is my all-time favorite science fiction writer. Who else would there be? There's others. H.G. Wells, the godfather of science fiction. But Isaac Asimov is the one who came up with so much stuff. He came up with the word, I think, robotics. He's the one that came up in his robot series of books, the laws of robots, that a robot can't harm a human, that a robot is obligated to try to protect a human, things that are just kind of accepted as part of science fiction nowadays. He wrote my all-time favorite ever science fiction book or trilogy. It's called the Foundation Trilogy. And it's all about a mathematician who figures out that he can make predictions on how life is going to go based on putting in enough variables into a supercomputer so he can predict everything that happens and how to address it and everything. I mean, that sounds so scientific, but I use the same stuff while I was in the Big Brother house of trying to take all the information I had and use that to make predictions about how things were going to happen, not just this week, but next week, the week following, and all that. Well, he did it in his book, extending it out over hundreds and hundreds of years, the way I tried to do it over 3.5 months or so. I read the first time I tried to read his book, I was probably 10 years old, and it was just too advanced for me. I set the book down. I waited 2-3 years. I read it again, fell in love with it, read the ones that came behind it because it's part of a trilogy. Actually, I think there's even more books after that, but I've read it a few times since then. I love me some sci-fi. When I was a lot younger, I'd watch Johnny Quest, Lost in Space, the original Battlestar Galactica, and I'd read all the books about Johnny Bravo going to the moon and things like that. And I've just always been big into science fiction. And now Star Trek and the new Battlestar Galactica and Alien. I watched the Alien trilogies again. I hadn't seen it in a while. I watched those things here not too long ago. Those stand the test of time. They are still incredibly scary. Aliens 2 with Bill Paxton is still incredibly funny and scary at the same time. Just love me some science fiction. So I had to throw that in there before we shut down for the evening. All right, Jenny Gazify saying, I read that Bobby's still in good health. Help me on that one. I'm missing some. Sorry about that, guys. Come back to me on that. I was trying to reinterpret that. Mark saying, what channel will the new Rachel Riley show be on? I may be wrong, but I feel like it's on one of the streaming platforms, and I'm hoping it's Netflix. I feel like I've got access to all of them through family and friends and all that. Don't we all? But I don't know. I feel like maybe it's on Netflix, though, called The Trader. But if that's not correct, hopefully someone can tell me that. I just don't know. But I saw it's premiering, I think, later this month. I need to do some checking, some investigating on that. REM is saying, hey, Sigourney Weaver has my birthday. Sigourney Weaver, well, what an incredible actress. And I guess at the time to have a hero in that kind of movie to be female was something that hadn't been done that often. I didn't think about that. I just thought, man, she's a badass. And she made the movie, right? It wasn't just a horror movie. It was just incredible. And Lawrence Santiago saying 2005 Battlestar Galactica is much better. I agree 100%. Edward James Olmos, everyone else that's on there. I watched Battlestar Galactica and just the remake. fell in love with it. Everything about it. Some of the cliffhanger seasons. There was a season or two in the middle I got a little down on, but all in all, yeah, it was incredible. The first one was cool, just some of the sci-fi scenarios and all that. The latter one, fantastic. All right, let's see what else do we have on here before we shut this thing down. Jake, the horror movie geek, will be celebrating your 35th birthday on Friday. Congratulations, Jake. Was at the 6th. Congratulations to you. Enjoy your birthday. Go watch some horribly scary movie. Tell me, Jake. You don't have to do it now. You can send me a DM or something. I'm curious what your top listing, your top couple of scariest movies that you've ever seen are, because as the title suggests, I think you're an expert more than anyone else on here. I was trying to think what my scariest are. Psycho scared me to death. The Ring scared me to death. Dawn of the Dead scared me to death. I'm not sure it's as much the movie as the fact that I saw it in a shopping mall at midnight and the whole mall was shut down. It just was a perfect place to watch it. But I'm curious to see what your top few horror movies are. But yeah, happy birthday to you, my friend. I'll be thinking about you on Friday. Keith, Frank said, I get to graduate this year and get my first job. Well, Keith, congratulations. But I'll say this, you aren't getting your first job. Your first job was doing the work that let you graduate, right? That's a job all in and of itself. Unfortunately, you don't get paid for it, but it's going to pay off in spades on down the road. Congratulations. Graduate. It feels pretty cool when you have a job that actually pays you a little money, gives you a little recognition for the work that you're doing. Turn around, spend that on whatever you want to spend on. Congratulations. That's what the world's all about, right? Unfortunately, now you get your first job, you're gonna have a whole lot of jobs on down the road. It's gonna last for a while, but it's what life's all about. So enjoy every bit of it. All right. Marilyn Sutherland saying, did you see that Brett is on the circle? Yeah, and we talked about Shuby being on there, and I forgot to mention Brett Rumson. Brett was on Big Brother the season before I was, and I actually saw some clips of him talking, like when I won that battle back, and he's kind of cheering me on and all. I think he did take over that week on Instagram, maybe for CBS. Brett was so much fun. I loved watching him on the show. I've never actually met him. He's one of the guys that I'd love to meet from Big Brother. It just hadn't quite happened yet. But yeah, I'm glad to see him getting the chance to do the circle. Don't throw any spoilers out there, because I know it's already shown up and I just haven't watched it yet. But I'm curious to see how both of them he and Shuby are going to do. And yeah, and I'm curious to see if Brett's going to play himself or he's going to play. Wouldn't it be funny if he played, like, I don't know, Angela Rockstar or something, and just took over her persona for the circle? That'd be kind of cool. I don't know if she'd appreciate that, but I as a fan and as a loyal fan of Big Brother and all, I'd enjoy watching to see how he tried to play her, just because, daughter's birthday and all that stuff. REM saying Rachel Riley show is on the USA Network. All right, thank you so much. I'm glad. So ignore me saying Netflix. Everything else seems like it's on Netflix, but no, it's not. It's on the USA Network. All right. Well, that makes it easy. That's a little bit easier for everyone to have access to, right? All right. I'm going to watch it. She told me about it. She and Brandon told me about it when I saw her a couple of weeks ago. So definitely going to watch it, because there's a lot of celebrity folks on there. So it's going to be fun. And Cindy Hire saying I'll be 60 on February 19th. Well, congratulations, Cindy. We're going to have to do some special celebrating come February as well. Everyone, it seems like everyone's celebrating a birthday this year, right? It makes me think about Jasmine. Not a birthday week, not a birthday, but we're all celebrating birthdays. Cindy, 60 is a special one. Don't let me forget that, because we're going to have to do a little special celebrating for that as well. All right, guys, it is 7:58. I think we're going to have to shut it down now. I'm actually pleasantly surprised that my voice held out, that I haven't been coughing all over the place. That's given me optimism that's going to get that much better as we go forward. I hope y'all have had a fantastic New Year so far. We're 2 days in. I hope the rest of the season hope the rest of the year goes as well as hopefully the first couple of days have done. But guys, thank you again. Thank you for joining me for yet another year of Cliff Notes Live. And we'll be talking. I think I don't know. I was going to say I may cover the Trader. We'll have to see. But certainly I'll be covering Big Red. There's all kinds of stuff we're going to be doing this year, and I'm glad to have y'all on board and part of it. Now, if you haven't done so already, and you've watched and you're to this point, you've enjoyed it enough that you have said, turn this stuff off. If you're still watching, that gives me some optimism as well. Go out there and subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and that way, every time I do one of these shows, you'll get the heads up and you can come out and join us for the comments and the commentary and everything else. So, and while you're out there, you can hit the thumbs up as well. I always appreciate that. But guys, y'all have a fantastic rest of the week. I will be here next Monday. May have the TV on the background with a little college football, but I'll be back next week. We'll pick it up where we left off. Until then, SKD 143. Love my wife. Love my kids. Love reality fans. Especially love you guys out here that join me every Monday night. And those of you who watch later on replay. I'm not forgetting you either. Love you all, guys. Have a great week. I'll be back next Monday. Until then, I'll say it again. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.